guys, I thought I'd jump on and do a little bit of an update this morning. So I haven't done as many updates here as I would like, but so I thought I'd jump on and just give a little bit of a channel update, and also to say I'm very happy and proud to say that we are still going with our breastfeeding journey. Spencer is nearly 3, and the benefits of breastfeeding, particularly extended breastfeeding. I actually had someone from America jump on and comment that she saw an Australian 60 Minutes show about the benefits of extended breastfeeding, and they had a doctor on there talking about it, and so it was really heartwarming and really pleasing. But as well as like just sort of saying how great I am to be continuing with our breastfeeding journey, and it is a journey that I would not not give up for anything, but obviously health is a concern, but it's one I cherish is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's one I really cherish, and we had quite a few difficulties at the beginning, but I'm really happy that I persevered with it. But another reason I really want to sort of spread awareness for breastfeeding is also education, because there's things I've learned about breastfeeding now, like this far down the track, that I certainly didn't know when I breastfed my daughter almost a decade ago, or actually over a decade ago now. And one of the things that I ran into, a really serious health issue, is the hyponatremia. So if you've jumped on the channel, you would have seen that video I did on breastfeeding through a health crisis. And that was because I suffered a seizure, and I was brought in by blue light ambulance, which is not an experience I would wish on anyone, into Gold Coast University Hospital. And upon entry, I only had the one seizure at home, but then as I was ramped, which is the term for being on the stretcher when you're waiting to go in, I had a second seizure, and it was that then they rushed me in and ripped off my clothes, did scans everywhere. Basically, it was a real medical emergency. When you have a second one, they didn't know what was going on. I could have had a heart attack, I could have had a stroke, there could have been a tumour in my brain, so they did all that. I actually lost a really good pair of earrings too. Not that I'm complaining, but they really do. They just strip you, you go in. I woke up to electrical cords all over my chest because I can't breathe, it's pollen, it's spring here, because they were monitoring my heart and all of that. But anyway, they obviously did a full blood work, and it turned out that I was really low in salt. So hyponatremia. And anyone that's followed my journey on YouTube will know that I did a video on how much do I drink when I'm breastfeeding, and the amount was vast. It was like litres and litres of fluids, because I felt thirsty. But in my individual case, it did lead to hyponatremia. So keeping up your salt levels, and then after I published stories about hyponatremia and breastfeeding, I did get quite a few women coming in and saying, yes, it is a thing. And I was never told about it, and I was never taught anything about it. So it's possibly rare enough to, I don't know. My opinion is that perhaps it should be more widely known, especially for breastfeeding mums. And especially because when I did the research, immediately postpartum, actually, women are at risk of hyponatremia. So I really want to do sort of updates and information about hyponatremia, which is why I jumped on live this morning, because this is my prop for this morning. It's my no sugar Gatorade. So keeping up my electrolytes has been very important. This has also got potassium in it and chloride, and I wouldn't recommend anyone starting to self-diagnose themselves. I would recommend going to a doctor and getting blood tests so you know what's going on. So when I came into emergency, my salt levels were 121, and that is clinical hyponatremia. And so thankfully that was the issue with me. They did do all the tests. They checked my heart, they checked my head to make sure there weren't any abnormal EEG wavelengths and all of that, but it was all normal. It really was the low salt. So then my hubby, who I'm thankful is a medical doctor, so he can do a lot of help at home monitoring this, and he writes, I can have blood tests and he can interpret them for me as well. Although a good doctor, like I said, go and visit a doctor and he'll be able to do that for you, or she will be able to do that for you. But anyway, so getting my salt levels up became urgent. So I started on 2 Hydralyte drinks a day, or they go under different names. Gatorade is a brand here. I've got also powdered versions at home. I started on 2 per day, and then we had another blood test in a week's time, and that wasn't enough. Then I started on 3 per day, and that brought my salt levels up nicely. But here's the thing, I now have monthly blood tests, and my blood test before the last one I just had, that was low again. So I was again tracking low, and that was on 3 Hydralyte drinks a day. So and it can vary depending on how much I'm breastfeeding too, because when we've just gone through winter, so it's now spring, and so during winter we had a lot of viruses. Spencer was obviously breastfeeding a lot, which is the massive benefit of breast milk, because it does have all those immune boosting factors in it. So perhaps that's a reason, or perhaps I was just drinking a little bit more again, fluids, or whatever the reason was, I was starting to track downward again. And partly it's because I'm very healthy as well. Like, I eat sort of steamed vegetables, I don't eat a lot of processed food, and of course processed food will have your salt in it, you know. We're busy always up in the Esplanade. But so now, when I was tracking downward, I now am adding salt to my food as well. And my last blood test, thankfully, I was back up to a normal range. So I'll better keep this brief, because I am here with my awesome toddler. He woke up a little bit too early this morning, so we can get a little bit fractious. But normal salt levels are anywhere from 135 to 145. When I came into emergency, my salt levels were 121. My last blood test, my salt levels were 136, which is on the low end of normal, but it is now in the normal range again, 135 to 145. So basically, it's, for me anyway, as a breastfeeding mum, it is an ongoing process to check my salt levels. So I'll be having blood tests at least once a month for the duration of our journey. And look, I don't know, you know, it's going to be individual for everybody, but yeah, there's a birdie. But I've been so heartened by so much feedback. Even when I was in the hospital, you know, my consultant who was checking my heart was and if you've seen that video, Breastfeeding Through a Health Crisis, you'll know that the hospital was really accommodating to breastfeeding mums. There was, you know, everyone went out of their way to support that journey there. And my consultant doctor said, oh yeah, my wife's still breastfeeding our 4-year-old. So, you know, I think it's something that you know, many women do, and I think it's really good to speak up about it too. And if you've seen the community post as well, there's actually a Breast Bump and Beyond function that's being run by the Australian Breastfeeding Association. So if you're pregnant, or you've just started your nursing journey, or if you're going along your breastfeeding journey and you're running into issues, but you sort of think in your mind, oh, I don't really want this to be the end, but I'm struggling, then get in touch with these organisations, because lactation consultants, health professionals in general, I always say they're the most beautiful people, and anyone would be happy to jump on and give you some support if you're needing it. Because we did have issues, that probably now's not the time to talk about those, but I can jump on again or do a separate video and talk about our early issues that we did have. But anyway, I really wanted to jump on. So it's a channel update, I guess, moving forward. I'm really grateful that we can absolutely share, you know, sort of snippets of our breastfeeding journey. And for me going forward, it's going to be, I'm really going to be focusing on education and looking at things like, you know, health issues that you can run into, because I don't think there's enough information specifically about what I ran into, which was hyponatremia in breastfeeding. So look, you know, very importantly, my medical sign for hyponatremia was lightheadedness. And I noticed I started complaining again to my hubby. I started saying, oh, I'm feeling a bit lightheaded again. And lo and behold, then my next blood test, I was tracking down again. So that was my symptom. So if you're experiencing any symptoms at all, that's another really important thing to say. Go and visit your doctor. Even sort of kindly suggest, oh, I wonder if I should have a blood test. I mean, a doctor is probably likely to do that anyway. I shouldn't say this isn't medical advice for sure. It's just my own experience about what happened. And so yeah, that was my symptom, lightheadedness. So For my journey moving forward, I'm going to really have to look at keeping up my electrolytes, and also after we finish breastfeeding, and I don't know when that's going to be, that I don't have any plans. It's just an evolving journey, and obviously, you know, it's the two of us. Then we'll get there when we get there, basically, which will be the same for every breastfeeding person. But you know, I think probably even after I finish breastfeeding, it'll be checking my salt levels maybe every at least probably a few times a year, and being aware of whether I'm feeling lightheaded or not. So there you go. That really is a really important message. And look, if you are in the you know, sort of Brisbane catchment area, and you are expecting or just starting, go to, if you want to. The conference sounds like it's going to be really good. Like, a lot of information, and you'll meet a lot of other people that are sort of similar way along your journey as well. So I'll say goodbye now, but anyway, here I'm with my awesome buddy, and thank you so much for your support, and we'll see you again, guys. And I will jump on and I'll do updates, and I'll try and keep you informed and try and share information as we go. See ya. Okay, Cookie, here we go.